Hello?
Hello, is this Corian?
Yes.
Hey, this is Sergeant Cordova at the Moffett County Sheriff's Office. How are you?
Doing okay, how are you?
Doing all right. I was calling to speak with you about everything that you turned in to us and looking to see
Okay,
what
I
was...
told Deputy Dennis that I'm not done yet. I still have a lot of recordings to go through, but when you've got hundreds of hours to go through, you gotta spend hundreds of hours doing it.
Okay, so what's your end goal here, Corian? That's my question.
My end goal is for you guys to see that I was held against my will and to treat me like I'm also victimized in this issue, to treat me fairly and to prove to you that I indeed was, in fact, there were some issues there, and I want some justice as well. I'm not sure why you keep asking me that. I was held against my will, there was domestic violence, and I'm not sure why you keep asking me why I would deal with that.
Okay, well, what I need then, if you were held against your will, is evidence that you were held against your will.
Yeah, I understand that, and I've already sent a recording where Richard admitted to holding me against my will in a vehicle and refusing to let me out of a moving vehicle and getting faster and driving like a crazy man. And I did ask to see you guys in person about this so that I could have other people there to help me understand what the issues are
Would you like to
and
come
why
in
you guys aren't.
Would you like to come in and talk with me in person?
I mean, we certainly can, but I have hundreds, again, more hours to go through of recordings. But I've already sent some where he admitted to holding me against my will in a vehicle, so.
Okay, well, here's what I need, is I don't need hours, hundreds of hours of you guys arguing back and forth and you admitting to hitting him. If you want me to press charges against him, and here's also the thing, false imprisonment is a misdemeanor in the state of Colorado. There's a statute of...
gun,
There's a... Can I tell if he has a gun through a video? Did you call us at the time when this happened?
I've called you guys for help multiple times, and he did have a gun when I got arrested, and I did tell your deputy that, and your deputy told me that being held against my will wasn't a crime as long as I was outside of a building, which is not true. And that was on a recording that I sent Deputy Dennis as well.
The body cam from that?
Mm-hmm.
Where he was standing behind your car?
No, where I was in his truck.
Okay. Well,
I said, so it's okay for him to hold me against my will, and he said, yep, as long as it's not in a room, he can hold you wherever he wants because he owns the property. And that's not true.
okay, I don't think that's what was said when I watched the body cam.
So with the body camera, it's indebatable. We can watch it with whomever you want.
Okay, nonetheless, what I have to do, I'm not saying that anything of between yours and Richard's relationship was right on your end or on his end. I think that the best thing that could have happened to you guys is you split up like you did. Here's the thing. In a court of law, I have to be able to prove something happened, not...
And him admitting to doing these things is proof.
Okay,
Me accusing him of doing them and him admitting is pretty good proof.
Okay,
That's how you prove anything in
Corian.
court of law outside of DNA.
Turning something in years after it happens, that already hurts credibility. Second of
So
all,
you're telling me that there's a statute of limitations on assault?
that's not assault. That's false imprisonment. And yes, it's
That
a
is,
misdemeanor.
as well as the
and
other
that
things
is
that you
18
do have recordings of. Can we have this conversation again when I actually get all the recordings to you of the things that he has admitted to doing?
Corian, here's the thing. Like I said, you can feel free to keep sending us recordings, but I only want the recordings that's going to be some kind of evidence. I don't want to sit and listen to hours of you guys arguing back and forth. That's not a crime.
I'm trying to give context to the things that he's admitting to. Do you want just the admittance, zero context?
Here's what I need, Corian. I need evidence. And I need evidence of where it happened, when it happened, who was the person on the other end.
Is Richard admitting to doing it evidence enough?
Admitting to doing what? You were in a vehicle, and you said, I'm going to talk or you're going to let me out, and then he drove away.
I've told you that he's done multiple different things. I am in the middle of Walmart right now. I would like to not discuss the types of assault that he's done to me, but I have told you this. I have told several of your officers this. I have told your jail psychiatrist this. So if you will give me more time, as I have requested, to give you the recordings where he admits to assaulting me in multiple different manners, I will provide them. In the meantime, I have to go through hundreds of recordings, and I would like to not be discouraged from producing evidence.
Okay. Well, I just called to let you know, and you're free to come in and speak with me whenever, and you're free to send in your evidence. But right now, what I have, I don't have enough to make any kind of criminal charges.
I'm not done.
Okay. Well, and like I said, when all of this happened, there is a statute of limitations for false imprisonment. So if that's what you're going for, there's not a lot I can do to help you with that in the first
And
place.
how long is the statute of limitations for that?
For a misdemeanor, it is 18 months.
Okay, and when I reported it and you guys refused to investigate?
When you recorded it and we refused to didn't you just turn
What
these?
told your deputies about that 2 years ago and you guys refused to investigate it?
Okay,
What
and
about that?
I believe that
It's not
was
my fault you guys
investigated.
refused to investigate it. So there's also other times, and I will be producing recordings as such. And sexual assault doesn't have a limitation of 1 year and a half. So we'll continue this investigation. Thank you very much.
Okay, what would you like to do moving forward, Corianne?
I would like you guys to wait until I get you the recording since you don't have enough already, which is, again, why I have hundreds of hours to go through where he admits to doing these things. And then we can sit down and you can listen to the recordings with me and somebody else so that you can explain to us why they're not enough. Because I'm sure that's what you're going to tell me, even though he admits to doing these things.
So when did sexual assault come about? Because that hasn't been brought up until just now.
That's not true. I told the deputy that when I got arrested.
Okay. And
that's also not true because I told the jail psychiatrist that. And I told Deputy Dennis that. And the recordings and flash drive, I'd like to see what's on that too because I believe there was comments made about that on there as well. So no, this is not the first time you guys have heard about that. You guys have just refused to deal with it.
well, we haven't refused to deal with it, Corianne, but when you
No,
turn
you
stuff
have.
in
If you
years
watch the
after
video
it happens,
the whole video camera of where I got arrested, you guys have refused to deal with it. He refused to acknowledge on camera. I told him that I had text message, blah, 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 and recordings of him admitting to doing these things to me. And then 10 minutes later when I was getting arrested, I said, so those don't matter. And he says, you never told me about that. That's not true.
so Corianne, do you realize, I don't know if you realize this or not, everything you're going through right now, even if for some reason you come up with something that I'm able to prove a criminal charge, Richard is gone. If he has criminal charges, it's going to bring him right back to Moffat County. Which is,
So I don't care if he's in jail. That's not my problem. He shouldn't have done the things that he did. Why are you trying to discourage me?
I'm not trying
Why are
to
you trying to
discourage
discourage
you.
me from turning in evidence of abuse? Why are you doing that? You are a police officer?
So far, you haven't
You're
turned in.
a law
You've turned in
enforcement
evidence
officer?
of
Why are
your
you
wrongdoing,
discouraging me?
Corianne.
sorry?
A lot of it, you're the primary aggressor, which is what we consider in cases of DV.
So there's a whole lot of things where I'm trying to provide context again, and I'm not sure which recordings you're talking about, but there are several that he admits to assaulting me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're going to tell me that I ought not react to those things, then maybe I need to speak to somebody else.
Well, you can.
Maybe I need to make sure that an advocate is with me. That's why I keep telling you that I want to speak about this in person, where we can listen to the recordings with somebody who deals with this constantly.
And I told you you
All
can
you're
come
doing
in
is
person,
trying
and you
to-
said you have hundreds of hours to still go through, and you don't want to come in and talk to me.
Yes, because I still have hundreds of hours to go through.
Well, we don't have hundreds of hours to listen to you and Richard argue on tape.
That's not the intention. Like I have told you multiple times, there is multiple records of him admitting to the assaults that he has done, and I am looking for those. I am also trying to provide context for those in the recordings that I'm sending.
Okay.
If context is not needed, fine. Context is not needed.
And here's, like I said, Corianne, you feel free, and I'm not trying to discourage you. If you have the evidence, bring the evidence. But well, I have to be able to prove when the assault happened, where it happened, who was the perpetrator. Not just Richard says one time he assaulted you. I can't say whether that was in Wyoming or Mexico. I can't say if that was January 21st, 2024, or if it was January 4th, 1995. That's what a court has to have.
I'm not sure. Like, I've already told you that I wanted to go through more recordings and produce the records of this stuff. If I have to do, all of this and whatever, and include my lawyers, whatever, I will do that. Fine. Fine. I don't care. I'm not sure why you're continuing to discourage me from doing this. I understand you don't have hours. I will only submit recordings of him admitting to things at this point in time. But this is ridiculous, and I'm not sure why you're continuing to tell me that I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you want me to do. I want you to wait till I get the recordings to you like I requested. I want you to stop telling me there's nothing you can do. I want you to stop discouraging a victim of domestic violence to not turn in evidence. I want you to stop telling me, well, what do you want to happen out of this? What do you want to happen out of this? I want justice out of this. I want to see that I'm not being held to a standard that Richard isn't. I want to see that you guys aren't covering for him because he's a sheriff.
Richard is
I
not
want
a
to see
sheriff.
taken seriously. I want to see being taken seriously about a gun that I think he was trying to kill me with, because he has multiple times tried to fight me with a gun, tried to use a gun to hold me against my will, tried to put his gun in his mouth when I tried to leave him, fought with me and almost shot me with a gun, etc.
And why
But yes,
didn't
no,
why
I would
didn't you
like
call the
some
police when these
help.
things happened?
I'm sorry?
Why didn't you call us when these things happened?
I have called you guys multiple times, and multiple times I have not gotten help. I've called you when he's been trying to commit suicide. I've called you guys, my father's called you guys when he's trying to commit suicide. I called you for help the day I got arrested.
Him committing suicide is not
I
a
have
crime.
called for help multiple times, and you guys have told me, not going to help me.
So here's my other question, Courtney.
I've tried
You
to
guys have been
provide
going through
evidence
this for
to you.
years.
I have given you information that you need to investigate back when it happened, and it wasn't done. So no, I have no faith in you. I've called multiple times for multiple different reasons, and I've tried to produce evidence of things that need investigated at the time of, like when I was being held against my will, and they said he could do that. That was the same day, and they chose not to do anything further regarding that. That's not a trust-building move for you guys, so yeah, no. When am I going to call you guys? 15 minutes after I'm shot? Do you think I have the ability to call you while he's pointing a gun at me? Do you think I have the ability to call you while he's got a gun in his mouth? When do you think I have the ability to call you? During the fight? Because that's not how it works. Not to mention you guys have a 30-minute response time.
Plenty of
minimum
people that
to my
call us
help.
during the fight, and then that person goes to jail because we can prove it at the time.
That's not how it works, because there was evidence where I was held against my will.
The
He
evidence
sat
of
on
you
my
claiming
bumper and
he
refused
held
to
you
let me
against his
leave.
will?
Oh my God. We can do this with a witness, please, with somebody who's dealt with domestic violence, with somebody, an advocate, etc. I don't want to continue to have this argument with you in the Walmart parking lot. This is inappropriate. I would very much like to discuss this with another party present.
Okay, you have my name when you need to get a hold of me?
Thanks.